Good morning, everyone. First of all, I want to thank Chatsworth International School to give me the opportunity to share my life story in such one of the most established platforms in the world, TEDx. And also thank you for the wonderful speakers this morning to share your knowledge and also your experiences. And thank you for a beautiful audience to give your attention. My name is Aaron, and I authored a book called Strength in Adversity. Today, I want to share 3 ideas through 3 short stories of my life. Wrestling with many medical calamities in my life, I never thought that I could become the person I am today and to have a beautiful wife and a happy family with wonderful children. My article was also published in the Straits Times. So story 1. When I was very young, I had wonderful dreams and I was a carefree boy, full of ideas, and like cute in this picture. However, life took a sharp turn and my childhood was derailed. One fine day, I realized that my knees and my legs were swelling and I had a burning sensation when I urinated. My mother, being a nurse, realized that something was really wrong and brought me to see the doctor. The diagnosis was devastating. I was diagnosed with lupus and kidney failure. My immune system was supposed to protect me from disease. However, it attacked my kidneys. And my eventual end will be hung on a dialysis machine. Can you imagine a person at 8 years old, a boy at 8 years old, being told that his eventual future will not be a doctor, will not be a lawyer, but to be a kidney patient stuck on a dialysis machine for the rest of his life? That was my situation when I was growing up. And every day, I had to take a cocktail of medicines even until today. And my medical bills was, you can see over here, almost $1,000 every month, even until today. Of course, you need to add in inflation, right? Being young, I wanted to be like other boys in my school. I wanted to take rough and tumble play. I wanted to do physical education lessons, play soccer, etc. However, I was not allowed. I had to stay in the classroom and watch other boys play. That developed a very deep inferiority complex within me. And the only way I could find self-worth was to plunge myself into my studies. It was a blessing in disguise. And eventually I did pretty well in my academic studies, and I was granted a place in National University of Singapore, studying pharmacy. And this was me when I was 19 years old. So at the time, I was very complacent. I was thinking to myself, I have good career prospects being a pharmacist, and I had a steady girlfriend at the time, and my health issues was manageable. However, things was not what it was, and the crash came. This is me, by the way. My girlfriend broke up with me, and I placed all my self-worth on my academic studies, and I fell into deep depression. I had to quit school. I stayed in a hospital for 1 entire month, and the doctors told me that my prognosis was very bad. My kidneys will fail in 6 months, and I was only 21 years old. And I was suicidal. I was very, very depressed. The doctor told me to take life easy. The well-meaning advice rang like a death sentence to me. Having propped up all my achievements and my academic achievements, I felt that my only sense of self-worth was lost. I contemplated suicide. The turning point came when I started to write a journal. I wrote down all my thoughts, and I found that I have so much negative thoughts about life, about myself, about other people. I felt that people judged me because of my academic achievements or my achievements in life in general. But I was wrong. I was humbled. When I was lying in a hospital bed, all my friends came to visit me, wrote me encouragement cards, and I was so humble because I knew that people would accept me for who I really am. So I picked up my courage. I went to reapply for university. This time round, I took up a less stressful course, a business course, but it was not easy. It was really tough, as I had to struggle with being severely anemic. And one fine day, I was in the lecture hall. I found I couldn't hear properly in my ear. I went to see the doctor, and the doctor said that, Aaron Tay, you have a tumor in your nose because of the long-term medications. The only way we can save you is to cut it out. And the best case scenario is that you have a manly scar on your face. The worst case scenario is that when we remove the scar, scrape away the tumor, we may damage a nerve and you will be paralyzed half your face and your speech will be slurred. Needless to say, at the time, I rejected the operation, and my renal doctor came and said that one way we can save you is to remove your medications. And you have two choices. First choice, you can continue the medications and run the risk of cancer. Or second, you can choose to stop your medications and eventually be put on the dialysis machine. So at the time, I had to choose. I chose the lesser of two evils. I removed the medications, and eventually, after 9 months, my kidneys completely failed and had to be hung on the dialysis machine. I recall the first time I had dialysis, the needle poked into my arm and my entire blood vessel burst. And my hand was totally swollen. And it was not just the pain, it's the pain of lifelong. Nothing can be saved. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 times a week, I have to go to be hung on the dialysis machine for the rest of my life. At the time, in my heart, I had a sensing that I had to go through all this because there is a purpose for me. And I'd like to encourage you that no matter what you're facing now, you have a purpose. And that's the thing that most people do not see. That is your strength within you. So, point number 2, story number 2, never give up on your dreams and goals. I graduated from university and I wanted to land a job, but I can't. So I started self-employment as a financial consultant. And 1 week, 3 times a week, I have to sit on the dialysis chair, and every ounce of my blood has to come up from the body and go into this machine to be washed and returned back to my body. And it happened for 4 years. And after 4 years, this is the result. You can see that this is called a fistula, where the nurses poke the needles in 3 times a week. And the needles is pretty thick. It's like the size of your satay stick. After 4 years in dialysis, one fine day, again, a medical attack struck. My heart was beating irregularly, and further checks revealed that I had chronic heart failure. That was a devastating moment because the doctor told me, Aaron, you only have 5 years to live. And I was only 28 at the time. I was building my career, things took off well, but I was only given 5 years to live. Again, my life came to a standstill. I reflected on my life and asked, what is the most important in life? It was really about family and relationships. So I took time off, I slowed down my life, and I spent quality time with my family. And it was precious. I savored every moment. The doctors gave me hope. He said that you can be saved by having an emergency kidney transplant. My brother, without hesitation, immediately put up his hand and said that I will volunteer my kidney to give to my brother. That is family love. So I recall on September 2008, I was brought in operating theatre with my brother and accepted his gift of life, and the operation was very high risk because my heart was failing and it was only at 25% function. And when I lie on the hospital bed, when I lie on the operating theatre, when I close my eyes, I knew that I may never wake up. So when I closed my eyes, I said, Heaven, I give my life to you. If I wake up, I will live my life right and treasure the things around me. So, of course, I'm here. So when I woke up, I opened my eyes, I was in a high dependency ward, and when my brother's kidney was transplanted to me, and I started to have urine, beautiful urine. And the best thing is, I can drink water. When I was dialysis patient, I could not even drink water. I could only drink 3 cups a day, 500 ml. But when I got a kidney transplant, I had a new lease of life. I felt I was reborn. I felt so good. I drank a little of water, and I really enjoyed it. So, to all of us here, when we drink water, do not take it for granted. You are blessed because you are able to savor the precious gift of water. And finally, story number 3 is to treasure our family. During dialysis, I met a wonderful lady. She's one of the nurses. I have 4 hours, I got nothing to do, so I chit-chat with the ladies. And this is my now wife, Sharon. After my kidney transplant, I proposed to her, and she said yes. And I got married to the woman of my dreams. And she's sitting there. Right? Can you wave your hand, darling? And I found true love because she, despite all my medical calamities, my future is uncertain, but she's willing to journey with me. And after marriage, what do we want? I wanted children. Again, a trip to the medical doctor revealed that my entire reproduction system was completely destroyed due to chemotherapy and the long-term medical effects of drugs. So I told myself that I will never have children. I was so sad and devastated. After lamenting for 1 week, I recall that when I was young, at 20, 21 years old, the doctors, before they administered the chemotherapy to me, they said that, Aaron, I think that you should store your sperms in a sperm bank. I recall, and went to check with the doctor, and yes, my sperms were frozen in the sperm bank. And we defrosted it, and it became embryos. We went through IVF. So Sharon and I, my wife and I, we went through the process of intra vitro fertilization. And these are my 2 babies when they are 1 day old. Under the microscope, they are just 2 cells. And after 9 months of gestation, they became beautiful twins. They are Reza and Raquel. And at 4 years old, them when they are 4 years old, we had my 3rd child, Reina. So looking back, 15 years ago, I was in hospital during the dark night of my soul, not knowing what the future holds. But I know 3 things. 1, whatever I'm going through, there is a purpose and there's a destiny. Whatever your dream for yourself, never, never give up till the end. And finally, treasure your family, because they are the source of strength in adversity. And finally, I would like to share this quote. Take responsibility of your happiness and our happiness, because when life throws us lemons, let's make lemonade. And with this, I wish you all the best, and thank you so much for your attention.